Today we are going to start lesson 2 in unit 2, which is the urinary system. As we took in lesson 1 the circulatory system, we said that the blood passes the food and the oxygen to all the cells inside the body, right? Okay, why do I need the food and the oxygen inside the cell? This is because if I need to do any activity, I need energy. And when I say that I need energy, this means that each cell in my body needs to have energy. How does the cell inside my body get the energy? It gets the energy by burning the food by using the oxygen. Again, so inside the cell, I have the food and I have the oxygen. When they react together or when they are together, the oxygen burns the food. It's like as if I'm cooking the food inside the cell. So I will burn the food to get energy. By the way, we took this in the respiratory system in junior 4. Okay, so I will burn the food by using the oxygen inside the cell, and this will give me or give the cell energy. And this is the way how each cell gets energy. And this energy is used by the cell to make any activity it wants to make. On the other side, there are other things which are wastes, harmful things. When I burn the food by the oxygen, there are wastes that are produced by the cell. There are wastes produced by the cell, and I call them cell wastes. What are the wastes? Wastes are harmful things that my body doesn't need. Miss, are all the wastes harmful? No, some of them are harmful and some are harmless, but my body doesn't need them, and that's why they should be removed outside the whole body. So when again I burn the food by using the oxygen, the cell produces two things: energy, which is used by the cell, and it also produces cell wastes, okay, which are removed outside the cell. These cell wastes, I give them another name, which is excretory material. Excretory material. So what are the excretory material? They are the cell wastes. Wastes or things that are harmful for the cell and the cell doesn't need them, so we should remove them outside the body. We have 3 types of cell wastes, okay? 3 types. Number 1, we have the carbon dioxide and the water vapor. This is number 1. Number 2, we have the nitrogenous wastes. Number 3 are the excess salts. So again, we have the carbon dioxide and the water vapor, the nitrogenous wastes, and the excess salt. By the way, the word excess means extra salt. Yani we all know that when we eat, there is salt inside the food. If this salt is excess in the body, which is more than what the body needs, this we call it excess salt, and because it's harmful for our body, so we consider it from the wastes. عشان هي ممكن تبقى salts دي extra for the body, زيادة عن اللزوم, so it's harmful and we don't need it anymore, so we have to remove it outside the body. Okay, let's see one by one how does each one of these wastes get removed outside the body. First of all, the carbon dioxide and the water vapor, we know that both of them are gases, and as we took in junior 4, that the gases are removed outside the body by the respiratory system, and the main organ in the respiratory system are the 2 lungs. These are the main organs of the respiratory system, اللي هم 2 lungs. So when I have carbon dioxide and water vapor inside my body, which are gases and they are harmful for my body, so I will exhale them. Exhale means remove, okay? So I will exhale them by the 2 lungs. By the way, the word exhaled is only used for gases. I can't use it for any other wastes. So again, the carbon dioxide and the water vapor are exhaled, removed by the 2 lungs outside the body. So how do I remove the carbon dioxide and the water vapor? I remove them by the 2 lungs. This is waste number 1. Waste number 2, which are the nitrogenous wastes. What are the nitrogenous wastes? We said before that the food is made of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, sugar, and many other things. as you can see there are proteins. Okay, البروتينز those when I break them down or burn them inside the cell, they give me urea and uric acid, which are called in general all together nitrogenous wastes. So again, we said that the food that's inside the cell, it includes carbohydrates, fats, sugar and proteins. ايه هم البروتينز دول؟ Proteins are the types of food like the chicken, meat, fish, milk, eggs. All of these are proteins. When I eat them and they enter inside my cell and the oxygen burns this type of food اللي هو البروتين, they produce wastes. These wastes are called nitrogenous wastes. They are called nitrogenous wastes. Nitrogenous wastes. What are the nitrogenous wastes? They include urea and uric acid. يبقى nitrogenous wastes دي عبارة عن ايه؟ عبارة عن يوريا ويوريك acid. طب اليوريا واليوريك acid دول جم منين؟ جم من ال breaking down or burning of the proteins inside the cell. So when I burn or break down the proteins inside the cell, they give me a type of waste called nitrogenous wastes. These nitrogenous wastes include what? They include both urea and uric acid. طيب يا miss, how they are removed outside the body? برضو through the two lungs? No, they are not removed by the two lungs because they are not gases. So they are removed outside the body by the system that we are talking about in this lesson, which is the urinary system. And the most or the main organ in the urinary system are the two kidneys. And that's why when I ask you, how do I remove the nitrogenous wastes outside the body? They are removed by the two kidneys. ايه two kidneys دول؟ تبع انهي system؟ تبع urinary system. So again, waste number 2 are the nitrogenous wastes. They consist of urea and uric acid. From where do they come? They come by breaking down of proteins inside the cell. How are they removed outside the body? They are excreted. By the way, the word excreted means removed. So they are excreted by the two kidneys, removed by the two kidneys. Okay? Waste number 3 are the excess salts. What are the excess salts? We said before that the word excess means extra salts. Salts that are extra in my body and my body doesn't need them anymore. How are they removed? When the blood passes below the skin, there are sweat glands. What are the sweat glands? They are a type of gland, something similar to circles like this, that are sitting between the blood vessel and the skin. What do they do, the sweat glands? They take from the blood the excess salt, and also if there is excess water, more water inside my body that my blood doesn't need it, so they also take the excess salt with the excess water and they mix them together making sweat. Miss, what is sweat? Sweat اللي هو العرق. Okay, the water that comes outside of the body when we are hot. Okay, this is the sweat. So when the sweat glands take the excess salt and the excess water, they dissolve the salt inside the water and then push them outside through the skin. So the place where I remove the excess salt from the body is the skin. يبقى السكن هو المكان الأساسي that I remove from it the sweat اللي هو العرق. By what? By the sweat glands. يبقى you have to know that the excess salt is removed from the body in the form of sweat through the skin. In the form of sweat, في شكل sweat، في شكل عرق، through the skin. By the way, the word sweat is written S-W-E-A-T not E-E-T، لأن E-E-T كده بقت sweet مش sweat. دي معنى كلمة ودي معنى كلمة تانية خالص. Sweet means the candies and the things that we eat that tastes fine or tastes well or tastes sweety. But the sweat is the liquid that we lose from our body when we are hot. فsweat حاجة W-E-A-T والتانية E-E-T مفيش حرف ال A, and this makes a big difference in the meaning. So concentrate very well in the difference in the spelling between sweet and sweat. Okay, so we said now that waste number 3 is the excess salt. We remove it in the form of sweat through the skin, outside the body. Okay, until here is anything? I wish everything is clear. There's something I have to say. You can think that the cell wastes or the excretory material that I was talking about includes the solid wastes that we remove outside our body. No, what I'm talking about in this lesson is the yellow liquid waste that we remove outside our body. So again, we are talking about the yellow liquid waste that we remove outside our body. I'm not talking about the solid wastes that it's removed. The solid waste, we took it last year in the digestive system, and we said that when there is undigested food inside my body, the large intestine takes this undigested food and removes it in the form of solid waste through the anus. This is another part than the urinary system. The urinary system, its job is only to remove the yellow liquid waste only. الليكويد ويست ملوش دعوة بالسوليد ويست، ده بينزل من الدايجستيف سيستم السوليد، والليكويد بينزل من اليورينري سيستم. تمام؟ يبقى until here is there anything not clear؟ اوكي، يبقى لحد هنا احنا عندنا ان السيل بتعمل burning للفود by using oxygen to give energy. This energy is used by the cell, and on the other hand it also produces cell wastes or excretory material that should be removed outside the body. excretory material دي بتinclude 3 حاجات: carbon dioxide with water vapor, and this is removed by the 2 lungs. the nitrogenous wastes اللي هي عبارة عن ايه؟ عبارة عن اليوريا واليوريك acid which are produced by breaking down of proteins, and they are removed by the 2 kidneys. And the last thing is the excess salt, and the excess salt is removed through the skin. تمام؟ By the way, the word exhaled, the word excreted, the word expelled all means removed. exhaled, excreted, expelled. بس exhaled بتتقال على الجازس، excreted و expelled بتتقال usually يا إما على السوليد أو الليكويد، فما فيش مشكلة. يعني excreted و expelled they have the same meaning, but exhaled دي specially is for gases. I wish until here everything is clear. Okay, now let's start talking in details about the urinary system. What is the urinary system? What does it do? Why do I have the urinary system in my body? The urinary system's job is to collect all the wastes that are in my body and remove it outside. All your this includes the solid and the liquid? No, you are only talking about the liquid waste. Okay, not the solid one. As we said before, the solid is removed by the digestive system. So we are talking about the wastes that are dissolved in water, wastes that are changed into liquid and removed outside the body in the form of this yellow liquid. So again, what is the urinary system? It's a system that is made of different organs, 3 organs, a group of organs. They help the body. What is its job? It helps the body to remove the wastes outside the body that are produced, and usually these wastes are the nitrogenous wastes that we talked about before, that we said they are formed by breaking down of proteins. And sometimes with it there are some of the excess salts, but we already said that the excess salts are removed by the skin, right? Yes, most of the excess salts are removed by the skin, but some of them are removed by the urinary system with the nitrogenous wastes. So again, one more time, what is the urinary system? The urinary system, it consists of a group of organs that help the body to get rid or remove the wastes that are produced from breaking down of proteins, which are called the nitrogenous wastes, and some of the excess salts. Okay, do you have to memorize this definition? You should know it just to understand, and when you read it and you understand it, you can easily answer the question, which is the urinary system. Okay, let's take the urinary system organ by organ. First of all, the urinary system consists of 2 kidneys. this is the main organ of the urinary system, 2 kidneys, 2 ureters, and the urinary bladder. Again, it consists of the 2 kidneys, the 2 ureters, and the urinary bladder. And at the end of the urinary bladder, there is a thin tube which is called the urethra. Is this considered as an organ? No, it's not an organ of the urinary system. It's just the last part in the urinary bladder. This means that the urethra is a part included in the urinary bladder. So we don't mention it as one of the organs. So if I'm asking, the urinary system consists of what? It consists of 2 kidneys, 2 ureters, and the urinary bladder. That's it. Okay, let's take them one by one. First of all, the urinary system as a whole, the kidney, the ureter, and the urinary bladder, the three, their place is located in the abdominal cavity near the backbone. Okay, let's say it one more time. When we took the circulatory system, we said that the circulatory system is located in the chest cavity, which is the upper part of the body, from the shoulder until the last bone in the rib cage. Below this bone of the rib cage until the beginning of my legs, this is called the abdominal cavity. The urinary system, of course, is located in this part, in the second half of my body, which is the abdominal cavity. And by the way, it's not in the front of the body, no, it's in the back. So it's near the backbone. What is the backbone? The backbone is the bone that passes through my back, in the middle of my back, from the beginning of my neck until the end of my back. This is the backbone. So again, where is the location or the place of the urinary system? It is located in the abdominal cavity near the backbone. Okay, let's take the organs one by one. First of all, the kidneys. The kidneys are the most important organs in the urinary system. Okay, if there is no kidneys, there is no urinary system. So the main job of the urinary system happens in the 2 kidneys. So it's the most important organ. The second thing you have to know about the kidneys, that they are not big, they are small in size, and they are bean shaped. What's the meaning of bean shaped? If I look at the kidneys, you can see that their shape is similar to the shape of a bean. شبه الفولة يعني. Okay, it's not in the size of the bean, it's in the shape of the bean. There is a difference. Okay, I said that they are small, but they are not tiny, and at the same time they are not huge. Okay, but they are bean shaped. They are similar to the bean in its shape, and they are located, as we said, in the urinary system. They are located in both sides of the backbone. يعني أنا if I look on the backbone, on both sides, على جنبين الباكبون, I will find the 2 kidneys. Okay, now let's take it step by step. Watch with me the picture that you have. First of all, we start at the artery, which is in red, which carries the blood with wastes. So this means that the blood is carried with wastes in the artery. And I want to stop here for a second. Miss, you said before that the artery carries oxygenated blood. How can it carry oxygenated blood and it carries wastes? There is no any problem. When the artery carries oxygen, this doesn't mean that it have to carry food. It may be carrying oxygen and wastes together. This is not a problem. And that's why we didn't say blood carrying food. We said oxygenated. Oxygenated means it's carrying oxygen. Oxygen is not related with food and not related with wastes. Okay, so I may have blood that's carrying carbon dioxide and with it there is food, and I can have blood that's carrying oxygen that is carrying wastes, and the opposite, there is no problem. Okay, so again, the blood is coming from the heart through the arteries carrying oxygen. This is not my problem now if it's carrying oxygen or carbon dioxide, and it's carrying with it the wastes. Then it enters the 2 kidneys, as you can see by the arrows, and when the blood carrying the wastes enters the kidney, there is a process that happens inside the kidney which is like filtering the blood. Filters means that it cleans the blood from every waste in it. All the nitrogenous wastes, urea, uric acid, any excess salt is taken by the kidney, and other wastes, if there is any other wastes in the blood, the kidney also filters it or cleans the blood from it. So again, when the blood comes from the heart through the artery carrying the wastes, it enters the kidney. Once it enters the kidney starts to filter, which means cleans the blood from all the wastes in it, nitrogenous wastes like urea and uric acid, and the excess salts and any other wastes. And then the blood now is clean. When the blood is clean, the blood returns back to the blood vessels through the vein and back up to the heart. So again, when the blood is filtered or cleaned inside the kidney, it will return back to the blood vessels through a vein, out, away, and leaving inside the kidney all the wastes, including if there is excess water, which means more water in the blood, it's left with the kidney. Why is it left with the kidney? To dissolve these wastes in it. So I will dissolve the wastes inside the excess water in the kidney. When I make this mixture between the water and the wastes, it gives me something which is called urine. It gives me a mixture of the wastes dissolved in water, which we call it urine. Okay? And then what will happen? So this, as we said now, this is the job of the kidney. It's to filter the blood from all the wastes like the urea, the uric acid, the excess salts, and then it will remove them dissolved in water in the form of urine. Okay? Miss, what's urine? Urine is the yellow liquid that we remove outside our body in the toilet. Okay? This, we call it urine. Okay? So in the kidney, we dissolve the wastes in the water, so it gave me urine. Okay? What will happen to this urine after that? The urine will be pushed by the kidneys into the two narrow means thin, okay? So it will be passed into the two narrow tubes of the urinary system, which are called ureters. Again, the urine, after it's collected or formed inside the kidney, we will push it down through the narrow tubes called ureters. Where will I push it? I will push it down into the urinary bladder. So what is the job of the ureters? The ureter is only like a pathway. Okay, it only passes the urine from the kidney to the urinary bladder. That's it. It has no other job, just passes the urine from the kidney to the urinary bladder. Once the urine passes into the urinary bladder, we start to store the urine inside the urinary bladder. First of all, the urinary bladder is something similar to a balloon. Okay, it's like a sack يعني كيس، فكأني ماسكه كيس كده ونفخت فيه، هيبقى شبه ايه؟ هيبقى شبه البالونه. So again, the urinary bladder, it's like a balloon and it's similar to a sack. So it's a balloon-like sack. What is its job? All its job is to store the urine inside it. The urine starts to pass from the kidney through the ureters into the urinary bladder, and then I will store some. And then after a while, the kidney will filter another blood with other wastes and form urine, and again pass it through the ureters into the urinary bladder. And then again, and then one more time. We will keep on doing this filtering and passing of blood until the urinary bladder is filled. Once the urinary bladder is completely filled with the urine, I will feel what? I will feel that I want to go to the toilet. And this is the moment where I go to the toilet and I remove this waste outside my body through the urethra. Again, when the urinary bladder is completely filled, so as we said, the urinary bladder's job is only to store the urine until it is removed or released outside the body. Once I go to the toilet, I feel that my urinary bladder is filled, I will run to the toilet and I will remove this urine outside the urethra, outside the urinary bladder through the urethra. Again, I will remove it outside the urinary bladder through the urethra. Take very good care between the difference between the ureter and the urethra. The ureters are the two tubes that pass the urine from the kidney to the urinary bladder. But the urethra is the small tube at the end of the urinary bladder that passes the urine outside the body. So again, we have the two ureters pass the urine from the kidney to the urinary bladder. But the urethra is one small tube that passes the urine from the urinary bladder outside the human body. So let's repeat it one more time again. The blood will enter the kidney through an artery. This blood is carrying wastes. Once we enter inside the kidney starts to do its job, which is filtering or cleaning the blood. Once the blood is clean, the blood will return back or will leave the kidney through a vein. So it enters through an artery and leaves through a vein. And then this clean blood will go away, leaving behind it in the kidney all the wastes. What are these wastes? These wastes are the urea, the uric acid, the excess salts, and the three of them are dissolved in water. Okay, and when I dissolve the three in water, I call this mixture urine. Okay, what is urine? It's the yellow liquid we remove outside our body. Once I cleaned the blood like this and I left the wastes inside the kidney is not a place for storage. It only filters and cleans the blood. So it will pass the urine through the two thin tubes, which are called ureters, down into the urinary bladder. Once the urine reaches the urinary bladder, I will start to store this urine inside the urinary bladder until the urinary bladder is completely filled. Once it's completely filled, I will feel that I want to go to the toilet, and I will go to the toilet, and the urine will pass down through a thin, short tube called urethra. So this is how the urinary system works. It consists of two kidneys, two ureters, one urinary bladder. The kidney's job is to filter the blood from the wastes, and remove these wastes dissolved in water in the form of urine. And then we have the two ureters. They are narrow tubes. What is their job? It's to pass the urine from the kidney to the urinary bladder. But what is the urinary bladder? It's a balloon-like sac. What is its job? Its job is to store the urine inside it until it is released outside the body through the urethra. This is all about the urinary system. And don't forget something that's very important, that the blood carrying wastes enter the kidney through an artery and leaves the kidney clean through a vein. So it enters carrying waste through an artery and leaves the kidney clean through a vein. This is all about the urinary system in details. Now we finished the urinary system, but there is the last part that will take always each system will take in our body, is how to keep the urinary system healthy. And please, at that moment, I want you to open with me your books, page 22. All what I said are starting from page 19, 20, 21, and the beginning of 22 is the urinary bladder, and below it we have how to keep the urinary system healthy. Okay, one by one. First of all, number one, we should drink appropriate quantities of clean water daily, especially in summer. As you can see, this was also written in the circulatory system, and at that time when I explained it, I said that when you drink enough water, this cleans your blood. As the water in the blood increases, dissolving the wastes in it becomes easier, and this makes the job of the kidney, which is filtering and cleaning the blood, much easier. So when we drink enough water, we help the kidney to do its job with a way that is much easier than without drinking water. Because if I don't have enough water in my body, the kidney will find no water to dissolve the wastes in it, and this will keep the wastes remaining inside the kidney until water comes. And until this happens, I may feel a little bit pain inside my kidneys, and by time this can be very dangerous for me. Okay, so we have to drink enough amounts of clean water daily, especially in summer. Okay, this is number 1. Number 2, we should eat healthy and balanced food low in salts. Eat healthy and balanced food low in salts. Why should I eat the food low in salts? Because extra salt is very harmful for us, and that's why we should eat low salts. And because, as we said, if salt increases, it becomes parts of the wastes. So when I decrease, lower the amount of salts I eat, this means that I'm decreasing the amount of waste that are in my body, which makes me feel more healthy. Number 3, and concentrate very well in this, I'm saying avoid Schistosomiasis disease caused by bilharzia worm causing bloody urine by keeping away and not urinating in irrigation canals. Remember last term when we took the food relationships, we said that we have 2 types of parasite. Remember the parasite that lives on the body's host and harms it? One of these parasites was the internal parasite bilharzia worm. This bilharzia worm causes a disease called Schistosomiasis disease. Schistosomiasis is a disease that comes by the bilharzia worm. What does it do? It affects the urinary system, and it causes us, when we urinate, which means when we go to the toilet and release our urine, this urine is not yellow, it becomes red. Why does it become red? Because there is blood going down. This means that the kidney is not doing its job well. It's not filtering the blood properly, so the blood passes through these filters and goes down with the urine, and this of course is very, 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 very harmful for me. And that's why, how does this happen, or how does bilharzia worm come to our body? When we do toilet in any place, on the floor for example, in a garden, in the swimming pool. Some people in the villages that are poor, they make toilet in the irrigation canals. Irrigation canals, they are هي ترع تمام, and then they go down and swim in it. Okay, I know this is disgusting, but this happens, and this causes diseases including Schistosomiasis disease, which causes the urine to go down with blood, and this is very harmful for me. So I should avoid this and keep away from it. And number 4, don't keep urine for long periods of time. This will affect the function of the kidneys by time. We are saying that when you feel that you want to go to the toilet, don't keep the toilet inside your body. Don't say I will go in later, and then this later comes after 2 or 3 hours. This is a very long period of time, and your kidneys get affected. Let's think together, how does this affect the kidney? First of all, when you feel that you want to go to the toilet, this means that the urinary bladder is completely filled with the urine. Okay, so when the kidney filters new blood and you didn't go to the toilet, where will the urine collected in the kidney pass? It will enter into the ureters, down to the urinary bladder. There is no place in the urinary bladder, so the urine will start returning up back through the ureters, so it will remain inside the ureters, and in addition they will remain inside the kidney because there is no place to go. The ureters are completely filled and the urinary bladder is filled, so where will they go? They will remain inside the kidney. By time this urine changes from liquid into solid, we call it's calcified. All what I'm saying, by the way, is not on you, it's just to understand. They become calcified. Calcified means they are similar to crystals. These crystals change into stones. لو بتسمعوا كده عن لما بنقول حد عنده حصوة في الكلى، مش كلكم طبعا هتكونوا سمعتوا الكلام ده، بس sometimes we hear it إن حد طلع له حصوة في الكلى. حصوة في الكلى دي بتبقى كريستال من اليورين كده اتكونت واتقلبت، بدل ما كانت ليكويد بقت solid. دي بعد مع الوقت تبدأ تعمل pain inside the kidney and we have to remove it. لو هي صغيرة ممكن تروح by medicine، لكن لو هي كبيرة محتاج نعمل surgery، اللي هي محتاج نعمل عملية عشان نشيلها. طبعا ده بيبقى خطر جدا. And that's why we say don't keep the urine for long period of time. And there's another reason كمان. لما بتبقى اليورينري بلادر مليانة وأنا ما بدخلش التويلت، اليورينري بلادر دي بتبقى عبارة عن بالون معمولة من ماسلز. اوكي؟ أي ماسل في الدنيا لو قعدت زي مثلا كده إيه، أي أستك لو مسكته فضلت أشده وأرجعه أشده وأرجعه، اليورينري بلادر بيبقى إحساسها نفس الإحساس when it's filled with urine. It start to stretch and relax. Stretch and relax to tell you that you need to go to the toilet, and at the same time you are not going to the toilet and you are sitting in your place because you are doing whatever. Okay, so by time this muscle will relax always. It will lose its relaxing and stretching mechanism and it will keep relaxed always. So when any amount of small urine enters the urinary bladder, you will feel that you want to go to the toilet, and when you enter you will find yourself doing very small amount. Why? Because the urinary bladder's function is affected. Why? Because it kept on stretching and contracting because you don't go to the toilet regularly when you feel that you want to go, and as a result this muscle isn't working properly, so it's a little bit loose, and when it's loose, any little amount of urine collected inside it makes you feel that you want to go to the toilet, although it's not completely filled. Anyway, all what I've said is not on you, it's just to understand. All we want to say from this that you should go to the toilet once you feel that you want to go. Don't keep the urine for long period of times. This will affect the function of the kidneys. Not only the function of the kidney, it will affect the kidney, it will affect the ureters, it will affect the urethra, and will affect the urinary bladder. This means that it will affect the whole urinary system as a whole. Okay? And now the last part, note that this note is only for reading and understanding. Man needs to drink 2 liters of water a day and excrete, remove about 1.5 liters of urine per day. So any man, any human should drink 2 liters of water, and 1.5 of this liter of this water is removed outside the body as urine every day. Okay? And point number 2, a doctor can diagnose many diseases by examining a report of urine analysis. This means that if I take a small amount of urine to the lab that analyzes this urine, بتحلله يعني, I can know if I have any disease from this urine. Many diseases can be discovered from the sample of urine that I give to the lab. Number point 3, the artery which enters the kidney carries blood with much waste material, while the vein which leaves the kidney carries clean blood to the heart. As I said before, the artery can carry wastes and enter into the kidney, and the clean blood leaves the kidney through a vein back to the heart. Point number 4, bloody urine indicates infection of the urinary tract with disease. It's saying that when any urine goes down into the toilet and there is in it blood, this means that I have a problem in my urinary system. This means that there's an infection, there's a disease, there is a problem somewhere in the urinary system, because normally no blood passes with the urine. The last point, diseased or injured kidneys may cause poisoning. He's saying that if I have a problem in my kidneys, this may cause me poisoning. Why it causes poisoning? Because if the kidney is not working well, it will not filter, which means that it will not clean the blood properly, and not cleaning the blood properly means that the wastes will remain inside my blood, and when the wastes remain inside my blood, I will get, of course, poisoned. That's it. By the way, the word renal failure means kidney failure. Renal means kidney, okay, but in Latin. And that's how the urinary system works and how we can keep the urinary system healthy. Good luck, Junior 5, and thanks a lot for listening.